Okay, so this is going to be an all signs reading, an update. All right, so in this one, we'll start in the first house, which is Aries house. First house is Aries, second house Taurus, third house Gemini, fourth house Cancer, fifth house Leo, sixth house Virgo, seventh house Libra, eighth house Scorpio, ninth house Sagittarius, 10th house Capricorn, 11th house Aquarius, and 12th house is Pisces. And then we'll be back to do another one probably in about 8 hours. This is a general reading. It's not intended to resonate with everyone. So if it doesn't resonate, please don't force it. I'll be back to do another as soon as possible. Thank you for your support on the video, on the channel. Thank you for interacting with me in the chat. And I do short-term energy readings as energy changes all the time. Even a thought can change the trajectory in the way in which energy moves. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Aries, aka the first house. All right. Okay, Aries, so this one is straightforward. Aries right now is in the prime time, a very ripe time to manifest whatever it is that they've been focused on. So I have the Seven of Pentacles, so there's the whatever it is that they're focused on. The Seven of Pentacles is looking at a pinnacle tree. All right, something that whatever they're thinking about here in this pinnacle tree, nurturing, trying to figure out if what needs pruning, what needs more nurture, how to go about getting it. Does it need a little more water, a little less water, some fertilizer? So that's the type energy in the Seven of Pentacles. And then we have the major arcana here of the Magician. So the Magician talks about everything coming into alignment. Synchronicity is here. So this is like Big Bang energy, whatever it is that you're focused on and have been focused on, especially with that being a Pentacle card. This is something that doesn't happen overnight. When you get two Pentacles as such, think about something that's very fundamental, substantial, and then we have the outcome with the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles. So this is one of the best Pentacle cards that you can get. It talks about like at the home front, you can see the Court in this card is very comfortable in their environment, surrounded by the abundance of their own hard work and just being in good energy, generally speaking. This is a good aptitude for learning new things, but just being surrounded by the fruit of their labor. So that's why I got that for Aries. And I'm going to prepare to move us to our next house, which is the second house, Taurus's house. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Taurus. Please put resonance in the deck to give me a reading for Taurus. Well, I have strong 10th house energy in today's reading, which relates back to career. Rules, regulations, boundaries, expectations, very heavily emphasized in today's reading, with the Queen of Pentacles technically being Capricorn's card, and also the 15 major arcana being Capricorn's archetype in the major arcana tarot. Alright, this 15 major arcana is also known as the Devil card. And so it has implications about toxicity and overindulgences. The Queen of Pentacles is technically not just Capricorn, but Taurus and Virgo, earth energy, but it also has symbolism about the Queen of Pentacles. She's enterprising, fundamental, establishing, building blocks, whatever it is that you're building. She's very all-encompassing when it comes to building, pleasures, finances. She's on top of her game. It's all energy specific, not gender specific. She's abundant. Well, we come into the reading with the Queen of Pentacles. Just heavy emphasis on the rules, regulations, and expectations today, and then emotionally detaching. So we have been doing readings for the second house. So far, a lot of the readings for the second house has generally been speaking of some Tauruses in particular may be involved in some investments. There's something that they're waiting for, have been nurturing, cultivating, and it looks like there's some sort of a window of opportunity that would present itself to, if they've been holding on, looking for the market to do a certain thing, like as far as doing some market speculations for investments. I think these energies may indicate that today is a good day to pay attention and to watch for your investment, to make your speculations, to watch the fluctuations, because we have been seeing a running storyline talking about that type of energy, and it looked like there was going to be a window of opportunity for those Tauruses that might be thinking about getting off of an investment or riding the wave in some sort of way. That window of opportunity was approaching. So these energies, I would say today is a good day to start watching for sure. And then we're left with the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups here talks about emotionally detaching and walking away from something that they formerly spent a lot of time and energy in that no longer serves them. So that's what we're looking at. And just to verify and or confirm or to be redirected, I'm going to pull some additional cards. Alright, so there are a lot of cards that came out. I'll take a look at those. But here's the investment embodiment that I've been talking about. Okay, guys, so here's the card that talks about the investment. For some Tauruses, looks like, because as far as a money reading is concerned, this energy talks about being locked in a particular investment, and there's waiting for the perfect moment to get out of that investment. So this represents some sort of entanglement. So there's a confirmation in and of itself that this may be the moment to definitely, if nothing else, watch out for those markets. Okay, but let's look at these card combinations that came out to clarify the Queen of Pentacles. 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords, 5 of Swords, 6 of Swords. I feel like that is a confirmation. And the 7 of Swords. See, the 7 of Swords is just barely getting off, barely getting away, you see? So, and over here, all right, this adds some information that that investment may have been painful. Like somebody might have got stuck in a market with an investment and, you know, holding on to it though, you know, keeping the faith alive about it. This right here might indicate a certain spike in that investment. So it looks like there is a window of opportunity now. Of course, I'm glad I can still say my disclaimer though, that this is a general reading. So you got to do your own research, of course. If it doesn't resonate, please disregard it. But if you're flipping your own cards, for an example, these are some card combinations that might help you. This here is talking about moving away from a toxic situation into a better situation. And then the Seven of Swords would be that embodiment and an investment, as we just described, talking about just barely getting away by the hair of your chinny chin chin, not out of thin air though, but due to your own diligence, looking out, paying attention to the fluctuations of the market, etc., as we have been talking about in the second house, Taurus's house, for a while. So that's definitely a strong reading on the table. I'm going to look for more in just a moment, though. We'll keep working here. So let's see. Dear Holy Spirit, please continue. Is there anything else to say about the Queen of Pentacles? Okay, guys. So I'm being pointed back to this card, which is the one that's on the table. I cover it up because I don't like looking at it for a prolonged period of time. But that's a confirmation there, pointing us to that arena. Looking at the Seven of Cups here, so where one may have been stuck on a particular subject, investment, whatever it is that you're focused on, Taurus, it looks like options might open up. So we've also been talking about in the second house with this reading, the potential for an example being locked in one investment and having the opportunity to diversify, to multiply the streams of income, or if nothing else, to profit from the investment that you're on. Is there anything else? Okay, the Eight of Pentacles making an appearance here. So I don't want to forget, thank you guys for your support on the video and on the channel. I don't want to forget that some of those embodiments also pointed to the Queen of Pentacles, you know, just for information's sake. When I was describing, the Queen of Pentacles is not only associated to the 10th house, Capricorn's house, the rules, the regulations, like the Saturn energy, expectations, boundaries, etc., and or overindulgences, toxicity, but also the Queen of Pentacles is there to talk about her business mind, her business savvy, her enterprise. These are all enterprising concepts that are clarifying her so far. I don't want to forget to mention that. And we have the Eight of Pentacles here, okay, talking about the hard work. I don't want to forget also to emphasize again, like, Capricorn's energy keeps making an appearance, the 15 major arcana. The rules, the regulations, and expectations. So whatever it is that some of you Tauruses might be focused on getting off the ground, there seems to also be a highlighted area of concern to be mindful about the rules, the regulations, the expectations, and overindulgences. You guys, again, take it all with a grain of salt. You got to do your own research, pull your own cards for an example, make sure this resonates for you. I might, you know, me personally, I think that excessive hinting in that direction is talking about get in and get out type energy. Don't be too greedy, because it was already describing some discomfort and some regret, basically, about getting on it in the first place. This window of opportunity is presenting for some who got stuck on there, and you're riding the wave to try to get off, to try to salvage what you have. But I really feel hesitant to try to offer that type of energy, information. If it's a stock market, for a stock, it might suggest that this stock is volatile, for an example. So when you see it hit your number, you want to get off. Don't be too stingy to sit there and take a risk. The reason I hesitate to say that, though, is because the stock market, what if you get off and then it keeps going up? That's kind of the temptation about the stock market. Anyhow, so when you pull your own cards and you double check, or you check your own speculations, your own analysis based on what you know about that stock. But to me, seeing double emphasis on the 15 major arcana, it might say, don't be too, it's in the Seven of Swords that we've seen. Don't be too greedy. Get your profit and salvage yourself. Because there's a tendency for it to become more volatile and more toxic, for an example. That's what may be suggested. Now let me take a look here and double check the textbook. Okay. Thank you for your patience. I just want to double check the textbook. In a money reading, what would the Eight of Pentacles suggest? Generally speaking, that's talking about hard work. That's banging out some pentacles. That would imply to me that you get your profit. Let's see. So this textbook, it says you're going to have to focus. All right. You're going to have to focus and get your hands dirty to accumulate the kind of wealth you're dreaming of. Time to put imagination into reality and get to work. Okay, great. That's a confirmation. Now in the reverse, it would say, making money holds no interest for you. You place more value on vision, creativity, and ideas. Your focus is admirable, but don't get into the starving artist mindset. All right. Also, that 15 major arcana might imply to me, if somebody is stuck on an investment, for an example, tied up in it, not paying meticulous attention to it, putting the hard work in it, for an example, as was suggested in the definition of the Eight of Pentacles, could be a regretful thing. It could describe them sitting on that stock for a long time, waiting for the market to prove itself again, and favorability for them to get off of it again. So that is one thing being said here. And let me see if there's anything else about the Queen of Pentacles. All right, the Empress, Nine of Swords, the Empress embodying, that's another Taurus embodiment, but her abundance and her ability. The Nine of Swords, I think that it's the stress for somebody who might be in this situation, been in this situation for a minute. The Eight of Pentacles. So we're seeing a repeat. I'm going to move on to our next placement. Dear Holy Spirit, please continue. Please clarify the 15 major arcana, aka the Devil card. Nine of Pentacles, Two of Fire. Alright guys, so I think that's a confirmation about the rules, the regulations, the 10th house energy that I was talking about. Because, we just seen the Empress, so the Empress is sitting pretty, indicating that finances, I feel like that's a confirmation too that the finances for this Taurus are not deadlocked. Taurus is fine. It's an investment. It's not like the house and the sink money. It's investment money. So I think that's why we're seeing the Nine of Pentacles to let me know, the reader know, you're okay. This is your investment money. It might be play money for somebody. But anyhow, it showed up as the Nine of Pentacles to embody the Empress's environment, her empire, so to speak. And she's taking a look at this investment with the Two of Fire. So I feel like that is a confirmation clarifying the 15 major arcana, where, like I said, it could imply some toxicity, boundary crossing implications, or other things. Like it's Capricorn's card, we could be talking about a Capricorn. It's a career card, we could be talking about that. But whatever it is, the Two of Fire for me, I feel like it's talking about rules, regulations, expectations, 10th house energy. Looking at the market, for an example, would embody all of that, I feel like, in a Saturn type of an environment. Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, also Saturn, the archetype for Saturn in tarot is this card, the World. So seeing this embodiment, especially if we're looking at it for emphasis on the 10th house, maybe this also talking about getting out and having learned a lot of lessons, trials, gone through a lot of trials, tribulations, so to speak. A lot of lessons have been learned in that chapter. Take those lessons, including the rules and regulations aspect of it, like as a lesson, as a learning, as a mastering opportunity to master certain concepts about your investment or whatever it is that you're working on, and take that with you to your new chapter. So you can see here, if this was, you know, moving into your new chapter, this is the next card, the Eight of Cups. Is there anything else? Okay, so we're seeing the Seven of Cups again, and we went over that concept together. Looked at the rules about it, so I feel like that's a reminder to be on your game, your P's and Q's. It feels like another confirmation that this is very sensitive, timing and getting in, getting out type energy. Ten of Fire, Page of Fire. I look at this in its sequential order intentionally with the stacked deck to look at the energy where all of it, you know, what part of the cipher, what part of the karmic cipher, what part of the tarot is being represented here when I'm talking about the 15 major arcana to clarify this energy. So it just looks like very serious. This is prime time. Yeah, and I feel like this is talking about a breakthrough. This stock, this investment is about to break through. It's about to run up. Then grab your pinnacles. You could even potentially multiply your profits. But then you're going to want to pull back. Don't be too greedy. Don't do too much. Take your profits and get going. It's going to require you to have, you know, to put that elbow grease in, your analytics. Be back comfortable with the Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles accomplished, your profits there. Now you can do what you plan to do with your profits and also take the lessons learned from that chapter and reflect on the good and the bad, the gains and the losses. And I feel like too, this is a highlighted area of concern warning. Don't stay on too long. Get in, get out. Otherwise, there could be some regrets. Clarifying that 15 major arcana. Reminding me about the other part when I mentioned the rules, the regulations, the expectations, boundaries, and all of that implied in the 15 major arcana, aka the devil card, aka Capricorn, aka the 10th house. Saturn energy is where there are rules and boundaries. Those establish jurisdictions that when crossed, now we have overindulgences, toxicity, we have addictions, etc. Alright, so let's see here. Okay guys, we're just about ready to keep moving, but let's look at the Eight of Cups to get a clarifier there. See. Dear Holy Spirit, please clarify the Eight of Cups. Okay, Ace of Swords. Feel like that's a confirmation of clarity, accomplishment. This is standing your ground at a position of leverage, what I call it. This is success. You got what you needed to get out of that chapter. Now you're ready to move on. This is love. And then we're looking at the Six of Swords. You moving on away from the toxic situation into a better situation. Okay, and I'm seeing a repeat of cards that we've already seen before, so that will close me out. And that's what I have for you guys so far. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next reading in just a moment. All right. So our next house is Gemini's house, the third house. Okay, dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for the third house, aka Gemini. This is interesting, Gemini. What's going on? It's almost like, are you intending to do this? Gemini, sometimes it's hard to tell what... Gemini could be that rogue out there. You're like, wait, Gemini. All along, I don't know, Gemini, are you intending to do this? What is this? A bailout, a rescue plan? Well, it looks stressful. No. Let me see. It almost looks like Gemini's pulling a rabbit out of their hat. There is a tower moment right here that I'm trying to clarify, and the Knight of Pentacles is running into that tower. And then the Knight of Pentacles is being clarified by the Nine of Swords, so it looks like stress and duress. But then at the end of the day, it looks like a rabbit pulled out of your hat, so to speak. And it felt like that right off of the page. Hey, hi everybody. Thank you so much for your support on the video and on the channel and interacting with me in the chat with greetings. It felt like that energetically while I was just looking at the spread, like, you know, this looks like stress and duress. But then the way that you come out, it looks like refreshed, like that's what you meant to do. It looks like some sort of a rescue mission. So you guys might be going in to salvage something, okay? Because it looks like, energetically speaking, like running into a burning building or something. You know what I'm saying? Because you're running toward a tower. But then with that Two of Pentacles, it almost looks like magician energy, but in a minor arcana form. So it looks like you accomplished to potentially salvage something out of that situation. And it looks like just by the hair on your chinny chin, you make it out of there successfully. Accomplished successfully, and moving into a new chapter too. And then what I'm looking at, although again, keep in mind, I intentionally use a stacked deck because I want to see the energy, and it's I want to see that the energy come out in a sequential order. So you have the apprentice, the magician, and the high priestess. The high priestess is the magician's counterpart. You guys might be going back to salvage a are you going back to salvage a relationship? Something, whatever it is that you're going back to salvage. It looks like you might have lost something and you just found the perfect opportunity to get it back. Looks like you might have just lost something you deem valuable and you find the perfect opportunity to get it back. So it could be as dynamic as a relationship, or it could even be as neutral as like seeing something on eBay go on sale and going and getting it. Okay. It might be an auction or something, and whatever commodity you want, it might go on sale. It could be to those extremes, okay? But it looks like going back and getting something that you almost might have lost. But it looks like you had your eye on it for a minute. And it looks like you just have a window of opportunity to get it. All right, let's see. So that's so interesting. What is it? The one that almost got away. Maybe the one that almost got away. Let's see. Dear Holy Spirit, please continue. Yeah, as I get more context, it looks like there was a breakup in the past. Some hurt feelings, some heartache. Even some blocks. A wall up. Boundaries created because of it. Yeah, and you see the outcome is the Two of Cups. So that is a confirmation. Okay, it looks like you're waiting just for the right time. Maybe not you personally waiting. These are major arcanas. There could have been some synchronicity, some sort of sign, whatever unction for you to go salvage that. It's a wish fulfillment. And the perfect time has presented itself. This is the Alchemist, the Temperance, blending energy and elements together that don't normally mix well. And see, these are the challenge in this tower. It feels like your contentment, your happiness, your peace is in this tower. So it looks like whatever it is something that you really would like to salvage. Okay, in the past there's the Three of Swords here, so it's something about it gave some heartbreak in the past. And here's basically the card combinations in a different form of what it looked like in the first spread. You know, running into what looks like a proverbial burning building, but coming out, salvaging what you love. Alright, so that's what I have for the third house. I need just a moment to restock the deck and move to our next house, which will be for Cancer, aka the fourth house. In just a moment. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Cancer, aka the fourth house. Alright, so altogether I have a newfound sense of clarity about something, Cancer, clearing the air, and your energy moving towards the prime time for manifestation, abundance, alignment, synchronicities, the perfect time to meet Mr. or Mrs. Right, the perfect time to come into bloom with whatever it is that you have this eureka moment about, this understanding, this clarity. Seems like you should also have some confirmations. You may have some communication as well coming into you very soon, like today, maybe last night, in regard to this information that is clearing the air and creating this space for this new beginning of abundance. Prayers answered type energy. Alright, so that's what we have. Let's give a moment to put some prayers up. Okay? Let's take a moment. Alright, I just want to take a moment, guys. Hey, what's up in the chat? Thanks for stopping by. Javon, we just did talk about money in the second house. And let's see. The other money house is the 10th house, but that more so deals with careers. The 8th house, you know, but those are kind of taxes, maybe business enterprises will be talked about. And let's see, let's take a moment for Cancer, for the 4th house, to put some prayers up, because it looks like it's a good time, Cancer, for your prayers to be answered. I just want to take a moment to focus your mind on what it is that you've been thinking about, manifesting, healing, praying about, removing blockages about, having success with, doors opening for you, other doors closing that need to be closed. Let's take a moment. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so in just a moment we'll be moving to our next house, which is Leo's house, the 5th house. Okay, that was a good question. Thanks for stopping by to ask that question. Let's see. The 5th house is Leo's house. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Leo, aka the 5th house. Hello in the chat. Hi everybody. Thank you so much for your support in the video on the channel and interacting with me in the chat with salutations. I really appreciate that. Helps me keep going with this. But now this reading, guys, this is for Leo. This is the 5th house. Now the 5th house governs relationships, romance, the courtship. Okay, it is also where astrologers and or seers will go to look for information about conception and children. Now, I'm saying all of that to say is because, yes, in addition to this being Leo's house, there could be 5th house emphasis. So, like, for an example, this one is talking about having a sense of clarity with the Ace of Swords. Could be a newfound clarity. It almost looks like a eureka moment, like an understanding about a complicated situation. It feels like there's a understanding about a complicated situation that Leo is going into. This complicated situation, it looks like there could have been a person of interest that Leo has had a fight with in the past, had difficulty getting off the ground with, and wants to have success with. So it looks like Leo may be going to approach this person again with the newfound understanding about how to approach this person. You know, if you had a fight with somebody, you guys might be at a distance, but you want to come back together, and you might need a creative way to come back to them. This is what this spread seems to be indicating. It also does seem to imply that there could be a 50-50 chance of success or failure with this person of interest. The reason I pointed to the 5th house is because, like, for an example, we've had in our other houses, there's been some interpretation that could be seen as a reconciliation attempt to salvage a relationship. An example for the 3rd house, aka Gemini. Let's see, I think also, maybe even potentially in the 4th house with Cancer, if that's something that Cancer has been thinking about and wanting to happen. So, like, and then we have more houses to get into. But so that's the reason I mentioned the 5th house part of it all. I feel like this spread is talking about for complicated relationships where there has been an argument in the past. Your person and or maybe you might find a way to get a hold of the person, a creative way to approach this person. And it feels like, though, that you're walking on thin ice. So it could have a 50-50 chance of success. That's what I feel like I'm looking at there. Okay, and I'll go back to the table to explain it. So, let me turn my fan towards me. Let's see. All right, so we have Leo's energy come on the stage with the Ace of Swords. That's the newfound clarity, the understanding. It was clarified with its own card, so that's a confirmation that the Ace of Swords stands for what it stands for, which is clarity. Likely after going through the Suit of Swords, which, for example, is why I like working with the stacked deck, because I know that we have gone through the Suit of Swords, a very agonizing suit with, I'm going to pull out an example. Okay. So we have the Ace of Swords on the top. And so here's the section. I like to see this because this is what it implies in my readings, that we've gone through this. Before getting to the Ace, there's the crossroad, indecision, a broken heart. You know, time to rest and to heal from that broken heart. Then once you're healed, you come to this very strong mindset. Doesn't necessarily mean that this mindset is accurate or not, but whatever it is that the Capricorn has gone into heal and pray and manifest. They come out with the win at all cost mentality. It could be a volatile. I mean, it does sometimes, you know, because you see somebody in the background running off and dropping their swords. So it still implies that there's a toxic situation, but our person of interest makes it out of the toxic situation into a better situation. This card combination here with the Seven of Swords talks about, it does describe getting some get back though. And you can understand that in context of what they just went through. They could be, you know, wanting to get their lick back. And that type of energy, you know, brings about the Eight of Swords, like unfinished business, self-imposed imprisonment. They'll close this chapter out when they get good and ready to type energy. And it's stressful, sleepless nights, nightmares. And this is like beating a dead horse. It's gone already. You know, it's very painful. It's excruciating, or even oneself stressing and ruminating over something. And, you know, you could only take so much of that before you finally have the clarity, you know, and that brings us to the Ace. Finally, this sense of relief, this newfound sense of clarity. So that's what's being described when you go through the suit. And then you have the court cards, which is usually, you know, this is intellectual, like gymnastics, so to speak, learning a new thing, really excited about what you've just learned, some communication. And then you have the King and Queen of Swords. But so anyhow, when you get to the Ace, it implies that you've gone through that suit at least once, maybe multiple times. So it's a very dynamic sense of clarity. Newfound clarity is what's coming on the stage now. So let's see. All right. So now, with that newfound sense of clarity, all right, it's suggested here that there was a fight in the past. It's clarified with the Nine of Fire, which are walls up, boundaries established, a filter, a block. Our person of interest here is mindful about the energy they let out, the energy that they let in. It's not the hardest block, you know, it is a hard block, but the 10 or the 5, which we have here, could be more harder than the ninth, 9 of Fire. But here's talking about an argument or differences of opinion. Here is coming out of that argument and starting to have the realization that, you know what, I was wrong about some things, they were right about some other things, and you get to some mutual respect, and even promotions are indicated here, but there's support indicated here. And then you have your person standing on their square at a position of leverage, is how I describe these. So all of this was clarified with the 9 of Fire, that block that I described. So like if your person is blocked, it's not in such a way that they cannot receive your messages. It's just like on a do not disturb type of a block, for an example. Or just they have boundaries and expectations about if they will entertain the way you approach them. You just got to come at them in a certain type of way, or you might end up in another fight. So you see how you get that 50-50 chance of success. And then we have the Apprentice here. So this is moving into a new chapter. So successful or not with this connection, there's just closure being represented here, and a new start and a new beginning. So you can have that new start together with your connection, going towards reconciliation, or a new start with, you know, that failed attempt at a reconciliation. So to clarify that, there is the Wheel of Fortune, a spin cycle, Major Arcana, and the Empress. Let's see. And there were a lot of cards that came out here, so I'm going to continue looking to clarify that one with another card. Dear Holy Spirit, please clarify the apprentice in the third position. Okay, so giving me the Eight of Swords would imply that although there's a new chapter, so it feels like what's being stated is initiating, even the initiating, hey Leo, hi you guys. Even the initiation of this reconciliation, it feels like it will cause a change, you know, in the connection. So it could be favorable as far as reconciling, like I said, like I'm repeating what I said already. There's a 50-50 chance of success, but it seems like whatever it would be, it kind of shifts the dynamic of the relationship. And seeing that Eight of Swords there, that's the unfinished business. So we talked about that unfinished business earlier today when we were going through the Suit of Swords. So it feels like even initiating this contact and initiating getting the connection back online has a high likelihood of putting someone, likely the initiator of the contact, in an Eight of Swords predicament. Soul ties, unfinished business, thinking about the person, maybe even thinking about them obsessively, you know, just not ready for the closure quite yet, everything that was described there. So altogether, I feel like this reading is a highlighted area of concern. Warning, hey, do you even want to spark that type, you know, I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth it to attempt to reconcile? Like they say, you know, with rejection, is it better knowing? Would you rather know, or would you rather move on without knowing and just go ahead and close that chapter out? And so with the spread on the table, it says, Leo, you could do either. You could keep going and feeling like you've been through it already. It's better not knowing. Who cares? You know, it already ended up in a fight or whatever, you know, before, or just having different mindset, whatever, and just do you choose to just move on and not want to get stuck again in that Eight of Sword energy? Or is it worth it to you to know you might be able to have, you know, your connection restarted again and have another chance? So that's what's being stated there. I'll take a moment to restack the cards and move to our next house, which will be the sixth house. The sixth house is Virgo's house. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Virgo, aka the sixth house. Sheesh. Yikes, Virgo. Well, there's my least favorite card. Okay, so Virgo, coming on the stage with the Seven of Swords. And I didn't clarify it yet to see why the Seven of Swords is there. But darn it, there's either somebody not very trustworthy in your midst. They're coming towards you with the... And then you have the Ace of Pentacles coming out of that. And a new chapter starting. So I definitely want to go and clarify that. But the Seven of Swords, I could imply there's some sort of investigation. You could have some sort of a stalker, somebody that's not very trustworthy coming around. Yeah, let's go ahead and clarify. Oh, and that third position with the Apprentice had a stack of card combinations that are moving from the first major arcana to the 13th major arcana. So it looks like this energy is very transformative at the end of the day. The 13th major arcana, aka the Death card, represents an ending, making room for a new beginning, regeneration, metamorphosis. Yikes. So let's see. And I see these card combinations making an appearance between the Alchemist and the Two of Pentacles. So it feels like there's some tapering off, elements that don't normally mix well together, blending, alchemizing. Alright, so let's see. Dear Holy Spirit, please clarify why the Seven of Swords is here. Looking at a lot of card combinations here, sandwiched between the Six of Swords and the Apprentice, with the intention to move you out of a toxic situation. So this card combination comes to be clarified, having the intention to catalyze moving you from a toxic situation into a new chapter, a new beginning. Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, Three of Swords, Four of Swords, Five of Swords. So it seems to be some investigation type energy. During that investigation, there's a Three of Swords, so there's some sort of heartbreak, rest from this heartbreak, and a decision being made here. So anyhow, let's see. What's in the Three of Swords? Dear Holy Spirit, please clarify the Three of Swords. Why is the Three of Swords here? Ace of Swords. Whatever it is that they discovered or found out. Ace of Pentacles. Whatever it is that they discovered and found out. There's our Ace of Pentacles there. Okay, and closes the chapter out. So for some Virgos, you might have put in some sort of a petition or some sort of so I feel like this is a reading that's for a select few Virgos that may have some sort of application pending. You might have put in a petition like I described, or requesting for some advocacy. You might be going through a situation where you're needing to defend yourself in a situation. Anyhow, so that Seven of Swords, yeah, it comes into this reading talking about the analysis of your application or your petition, the investigation required about it, or whatever background check is needed. It could be as simple as a background check for an application. So anyhow, but it leans more, background check for, it leans more towards an investigation for advocacy, because it looks like throughout their investigation, it does look like they find a reason to justify your claims with that Three of Swords there, and then it renders the Ace of Pentacles. So it looks like compensation is due. So let's take a look here. Okay, so I'm going to clarify the Ace of Pentacles. Dear Holy Spirit, please. Why is the Ace of Pentacles here? See how it's pointing us back to the Three of Swords, which pointed us here. Confirmation. Anything else? And then they want to go ahead and close the case. And they want to go ahead and move forward with it. Seven of Cups. King of Pentacles. So it suggests that someone has done you wrong. They want to go ahead and recompense what wrong they did. Then they want to go ahead and close the case, and they want to move on from it. Now, the King of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups could suggest Virgo might want to go ahead and close the case and move on too, but depending on what they want to render for the harm that was done, if Virgo wants to close the case and move on, depending on the decision or the actions. It looks like a settlement. There's a settlement there. Is there anything else about the Ace of Pentacles? Now there goes and the 15 major arcana. Somebody wanted to know if it is truly something that they want to let go of or not. So it could seem that you're dealing with a very petty person. Somebody seems to be petty. And so that, I feel like that's why it's the Seven of Swords in there too. A petty person, somebody who doesn't have the best intentions. There might be a counter offer. So I'm going to go over here and clarify it. Dear Holy Spirit, please clarify. Okay, it's being clarified. King of Pentacles and the Sun. Nine of Swords. Seven of Fire. King of Pentacles. Sun. Seven of Pentacles. Nine of Fire. Yeah. Alright. So it almost looks like It almost looks like a ongoing storyline. For example, like somebody just wants to be done with it and move on, and someone else looks like they might want to drag it. I feel like it's, yeah, no, that's it. That's all I have to say. I was going to say it feels like the investigation, or that, the unbiased agency, if there is an unbiased agency, they just want to go ahead and be done with it. Boom, boom. Here's your settlement, or whatever, what you've asked. Here's what you've asked for. Case closed. And then, of course, the non-biased agency will likely say this case is closed, but if anything else comes up, you know, um, come back and resubmit, whatever. That feels like the energy that wants to close the case and to move on. It was also being described with major arcanas, but then it feels like someone else in the situation is still grieved. So this may be a storyline that continues. I'll be back to do another update as soon as possible. And let's see, now we'll move to our next house, which is the 7th house. Libra's house. Let's see, Libra's house, 7th house. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Libra, aka the 7th house. There are a few select Libras that are courting a person of interest. It looks like wanting to pursue a person of interest that is emotionally detached from the connection. So that is a clear reading for some few select Libras. If it doesn't resonate, please kindly disregard it. I'll be back to do another as soon as possible. So that was really a straightforward reading. Whenever I get to those, I like to keep going as fast as possible, because there are those houses that I stay I can't say too long, probably not long enough. And sometimes it'll be this house that I need to work for a long time. So this one was really straightforward. So let's see. In just a moment, we'll move to our next house, which is the 8th house, Scorpio's house. Okay, the 8th house, Scorpio's house. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for the 8th house, aka Scorpio's house. All right. So whatever Scorpio is focused on, working on, looks like it's rendering stability and also love. So it looks like whatever Scorpio is focused on, working on, it could be also working on a relationship. And it looks like it's moving in a direction of love and stability, maybe even working on living together, relocating together. Okay, but this is a reading with a trajectory that is moving fluidly in a positive direction, productive direction, and success is what it looks like. And that is a complete reading for Scorpio. So we can move to our next reading here. Oh, the cards though. The Lover's card is in the 3rd position. That's the outcome. The 8 of Pentacles in the 1st position. So whatever Scorpio is working on, focused on, is rendering productivity, abundance, profit. So they're working. And then the 4 of Fire, that's the home front. But it could also be the office, like the home office. But with the 4s being there, that represents stability for me. The person, Scorpio, being stable within themselves and also stable with others. So that's a confirmation of seeing the Lover's card. And this is a major arcana in the near future. Okay, so now Sagittarius, let's see, am I going this way and this way? Okay, so the 9th house is Sagittarius's house. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for the 9th house, aka Sagittarius. Okay, so I believe yesterday I remember doing a reading and it looked like Sagittarius was going through a process of rules and regulations. Let's see, I had a similar reading for an example with Taurus. I believe, if my memory serves me right, Taurus right now, whatever they're dealing with, they got to be mindful of some rules and regulations. I seen that for Sagittarius, I believe it was yesterday. Okay, and it looked like there were very many Sagittariuses that were going to be successful getting through this rigorous rules, regulation process, guidelines, expectations for whatever it is that they were focused on. Now, I feel like this reading is a continuation on that, but this one is showing, it feels like those who may kind of got caught up in the rules and regulations part of it, with that 3 of Swords being there, and then there's the Justice. That Justice is a symbol that talks about justice, like in a legal sense. And then there's the 5 of Cups in the 3rd position there. Some regret and some sadness about spilt milk. So again, I do feel like this is a continuation of that. The good news about it though is that I seen in the first reading, okay, is that especially those Sagittariuses who have gone through this process before, there was an emphasis on the fact that they would need to lean on their experience because they've been through it before. So that experience was going to come in handy for them to pass this part of it. There was a highlighted area of concern though, that this phase of it, this time, there was still going to be some subtle differences. They needed to make sure to dot their I's and cross their T's and pay attention, because it looked like it was going to be familiar and similar, but not exact. So pay attention to any subtle differences. Anyhow, so this reading here, the comfort, or yeah, the comfort to give is that if this reading resonates with you, this failed attempt gives you the experience that you'll need to be successful the next time around. So based on that other reading, it looked like there, at the end of the day, there's success. I didn't see too much. I really didn't see indication of Sagittarius giving up, but this just looks like I said, that yeah, there could have been a failed attempt. For a lot of Sagittariuses, those failed attempts came um, a while ago. So this time they were going to find more success. This reading suggests that there, was a failed attempt just recently, but the encouragement is use that experience to help you be successful going forward. Let me see if there's anything else. That this relationship, this reading, the other thing is that this reading also would apply to a relationship or love relationship. And I also remember, because I believe there was a Sagittarius in the audience, or a Sagittarian cross watcher who who asked some good questions. Had me look at it in a relationship context. It looked like if there was a relationship Sagittarius wanted to get off the ground, that person had some boundaries and expectations Sagittarius would need to be mindful on their approach toward this person, or them reconciling with them or getting to work with them was going to not be successful. So if this is the situation, that's also what's being illustrated. It not being successful. The Justice card is talking about the standards with this person having, the reciprocity or the energy being mutual and beneficial for the both of them. It was not a positive energy exchange, and there's some regret and sadness in the way things went down in the past. Okay, so that is a straightforward reading as well, especially because it's a continuation of the last reading. So we'll be able to pick up and come back here as soon as possible. At this time, I'm in progress of moving us to the next house, which is Capricorn's house, in just a moment. Okay. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Capricorn, aka the 10th house. All right, so for the 10th house here, it looks like whatever it is that Capricorn is focused on, it's moving in a prosperous way. Profit, Pentacles coming out of it. It looks like there is volatility, like ups and downs, or like a bumpy road today. Some curveballs. Looks like some curveballs, maybe even something that could be distracting to Capricorn coming up in the energy at the moment and or in the near future. But overall, it says that Capricorn has the capacity to handle the curveballs, has the capacity to handle the challenges, is very competent to deal with this. And there are major arcanas to support it, like the 13 major arcana, for an example, that clarified itself. And that's the Temperance, an embodiment built to deal with the highs and the lows, energies that don't normally mix well together and blend them very well and alchemize that energy. And then the King of Swords, the Seven of Cups clarifying the King of Swords. The King of Swords has the aptitude, the capacity, the competence to deal with Seven of Cup energy, just having a head over emotion disposition first and foremost. But so the message here, the highlighted area of concern for Capricorn is to stay focused and just be prepared for the ups and the downs. Don't lose focus. Don't get what do they call it, off track or distracted or knocked off your square by it. But this is what I'm looking at for the moment for Capricorn. Yeah. And 10th house energy. There's been some strong 10th house energy. As I was reading, I think it showed up in kind of having, I think in the second house it showed up, wherever, but I definitely mentioned it. And this is the house. This is the 10th house, Capricorn's house, with the Saturn energy. So rules, regulations, expectations. And to see this type of energy, to see that, yeah, we got the Alchemist there, the Temperance there, dealing with the highs and the lows, the turbulence, and staying focused with the King of Swords and the Alchemist. Okay, so, yeah, looks like everything doesn't look too crazy here in this house, which is good, because everywhere I've seen Capricorn energy, like affecting Taurus, for an example, it seemed very subtle within Taurus's ability as well to follow the rules and guidelines. Just pay attention to it and to come out successfully. Like, as it applied in the second house, for an example, it seemed like there could have been some investments, but it was interesting to see the investment aspect of things in the second house, which more so deals with value systems. You would see the investments in the fifth house potentially, especially if it was like stock market or risky investments, even gambling. But yeah, I think we've seen this energy in that house too, the fifth house, because it seems like whatever Leo was courting or going after, there was a 50-50 chance of success because the person of their interest had walls up, boundaries up, and wanted them to approach them, if anything, in a particular way. If not, it looked like it would end up in an argument, a block, again with the 5 of fire. All right. Anyhow, guys, thank you for bearing with me the way that I describe these readings energetically. It's a short-term energy reading as energy changes all the time. That's what I have for the 10th house for now. I'll be back as soon as possible to do another one. All right. Now our next house is Aquarius, the 11th house. Dear Holy Spirit, please give me a reading for Aquarius, the 11th house. All right. Okay, great. So Aquarius is coming in with the King of Pentacles, standing on business, enterprising. And it's not even the Queen of Pentacles, it's the King of Pentacles. So they've been standing on this business about making their money, their enterprises, their stability, their foundation, their prosperity. It's moving forward and towards success. It's moving forward and it's moving forward toward success. With the King of Pentacles, the Alchemist, aka the Temperance, which is sustaining that energy, sustaining their success, sustaining their momentum, sustaining and moving forward their goals and their projects, which are set to render profits and success, towards the Three of Cups, which is the embodiment that describes success and celebrations and manifestations and abundance and creativity. Like, for an example, to take the profits, to take the gains, to take the earnings, to take that success even to a higher level if that's what they choose to do. So this is the energy and how things are moving right now for Aquarius, aka the 11th house. All right. And then we're going to move next to the 12th house, last but not least, Pisces. All right. That's really beautiful. Woohoo. It's great to have that in the 11th house on the world stage. Thank you, God. And for the Aquarians. Yay. Wow. Amazing. 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 Wow. Okay. Now let's see. Dear Holy Spirit, please put resonance in the deck for a reading for Pisces, the 12th house. Okay. Let's see here. So this is a very similar reading to Aquarius with the success, the enterprise. And this looks like an enterprise and success. In the Ten of Pentacles, you see a family for more than just themselves. It's the same as, it goes without saying for Aquarius. It goes without saying this for Aquarius. The difference between, because you might say because there's such similarities, what is the difference between Aquarius having the King of Pentacles and Pisces coming in with the Ten of Pentacles? It may suggest that someone came to the rescue for Pisces, that this is a collective effort, that Pisces was working and collaborating with others for the sense of success, and also their efforts and contributions benefit not only themselves but others. Whereas it looks like in the case of the Aquarian, there's a high potential that the Aquarian was the one who bailed out others, was the one kind of working basically as a lone wolf, or like the general manager, of the group, so to speak. But anyhow, in any case, and this is Pisces reading, we have the Ten of Pentacles, so you can see There's a family, there's a collective benefiting. Like at the moment, matter of fact, many people may be still collectively benefiting off this Piscean energy. Yeah. Now the Nine of Swords, I want to clarify what that is for. Off the top though, off the top, the Nine of Swords says to me that is that giddy, overstimulated emotion. Like almost like, for one thing, I can't put like just by the hair of my chinny chin I pulled this off. You know, that feeling of whew, you know, what a ride, what a life, what a journey, excitement type energy in the Nine of Swords. And I'm gonna go check for a clarifier. If I see cups coming out and you know that type of energy, success, love. But if I see stress coming out, then we'll look into that. All right. Seven of Fire, standing on their square at a position of leverage. So that leans more. I was looking for cups and stuff, but here that leans more towards woo. You know, I just barely pulled that. I just barely pulled that off. Okay, Empress, that's even better too. So it says, whoo, I just barely pulled that off, and it also confirms success. Okay, and here's the cups, all right? Success. All right, success. Like, you know, your cups are running over. You feel very accomplished, self-sustained, success. All right, that's what we got. Awesome. So that brings us to the end of the reading for now. We'll be back to do another as soon as possible. Again, I can't thank you enough for your support on the channel, on the video. Thank you for interacting with me in the chat. Until next time, peace.